Ooh, welcome everyone to the Daily Juice on the Betting Pros Network. I'm your host, Sean, stacking the money green. Give me a follow on Twitter at Sean T. Green. And as always, we're brought to you by BetMGM. Use our promo code JUICE, and a $10 wager gets you $200 if either team scores a touchdown in the game you bet on. All right, what do we got here? Got a 1-2 night. Not super thrilled, obviously, to be down that unit. Unit and a little bit of juice there. Let's get to it. I mean, Boise State, wow. They lost outright to UTEP. Are you kidding me? Kind of kicking myself because I'm usually on big home dogs in primetime situations. But, man, I did not see this coming. I thought Boise State, granted their offense has had some issues, but, man, thought they'd be able to get it done. I mean, even early on, I was like, oh, they drove up and down the field, and UTEP settled for a field goal, and really, that was about it. I mean, UTEP dominated them. So hats off to UTEP and Boise State. Wow, they looked like complete garbage, like horrible play calling, just complete disaster. Speaking of disaster, Syracuse won 22-20 over UVA, but they did not cover the number. Syracuse, you had so many opportunities, so many blown opportunities. They're up 16-0 at half. Should have been up way more. They turned it over 4 times. I mean, 3 lost fumbles for a team that really, I don't think they had any turnovers coming into that game. So very unfortunate. And they were lucky to get that win. UVA looked kind of crappy in the beginning, and then to their credit, fought back, were alive in that game. But they also turned it over a bunch. Like, nobody wanted to win this game. Certainly no one wanted to cover. But, yeah, Q's got the win, but didn't come close to the cover. You know who did cover? Air Force. That's right. Air Force 48-20. Covered the 23.5. Covered the 24 wherever he got it at. So aim high. I nailed this handicap, unlike the other two. Air Force just pushed them around. Nevada got gassed late, and it really wasn't much of a game, honestly. But, yeah, Air Force got the win, got the cover, took care of business, looking good. Speaking of looking good, you look pretty good in a Honolulu Blue Detroit Lions jersey autographed by DeAndre Swift. That's right. You can get an autographed DeAndre Swift jersey courtesy of Pristine Auction. All you got to do is go to youtube.com/bettingpros, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment on this very video. You're automatically entered to win a chance at this awesome DeAndre Swift jersey. All right, let's go. College football back. First pick, Duke plus 7.5, minus 115. At Kansas, you can get that over on FanDuel. I get it. I like Kansas. I was on Kansas's over 2.5. That thing is already cashed. So shout out to you, Kansas. But this is getting a little scary for Kansas. Like, Kansas is fun when they're a dog, when people don't believe in them, but people are believing them. And I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves with the Kansas love. 80% of the bets and 80% of the money are on Kansas. That is always a red flag. Duke's look good on the road. Duke's look good in general. Duke had a quality win over Northwestern on the road. Now, Northwestern obviously isn't amazing. Certainly Kansas is better, but Duke can show up on the road. Duke's defense has been playing really good, only allowing 14 points per game. Duke's only allowing 119 rushing yards per game. So I know Kansas, it's a sellout crowd. First time in a long time for Kansas, but I think Duke keeps this a game. They hang around, and 7.5 I think is too much for a competent Duke football team. So give me Duke plus 7.5. Next up, Notre Dame at UNC. UNC is only laying 2.5, minus 105 over on FanDuel. I mean, I just don't get it. This number doesn't make sense. I think UNC is a much better team. I mean, have we seen anything good out of this Notre Dame team? In particular, their offense. I mean, Notre Dame barely beat Cal, and they needed a lot of help from the refs to get it done. They won 24-17. They were down. They were down 10 in the fourth quarter. Like, what are we talking about? UNC is going to light them up. UNC is putting up 51 points per game, and I just don't see how Notre Dame puts up many points at all. I mean, I get UNC's defense isn't great. And that should, I guess, make it a little easier on Notre Dame, but they don't have the weapons that UNC has. They don't. If this goes to a track meet like UNC wants it to, and it's in, it's in North Carolina, I just don't see how Notre Dame keeps up. I mean, Drake May, he's leading the nation with 11 touchdowns, tied for the lead there. Again, I get the UNC defense is soft, but Notre Dame on the road, Notre Dame's offense on the road. I mean, this to me is pretty shocking that I got it originally as a pick. Obviously, I'm giving it out here at -2.5, -105. Still really like it there. So, yeah, UNC. Let's go, baby. Next up, Arkansas versus Texas A&M. I'm taking the Arkansas Razorbacks on the money line. You can get that over on WinBet. This game is taking place in AT&T Stadium over in a.k.a. Jerry's World. So, Jerry, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, also a massive Arkansas Razorback fan. So maybe he gets in the pocket of a couple referees before the game. He's got some extra money to kick around. Texas A&M is just struggling to put up points. I think that, to me, again, is a big part of this handicap. 17 last week against Miami. And, again, their defense looked good. 14 the game before in the loss to Appalachian State. Texas A&M's offense just, does not get big plays. They don't have explosive plays. Arkansas's quarterback, KJ Jefferson, he's a legit dual threat. I think they're going to be able to run on them. And, Texas A&M, they've played good defense so far, but I don't think they've faced an offense quite like Arkansas right now. So, their OC for Arkansas, Kendall Briles, he's been scheming up great and getting a lot of points. I think Arkansas is going to be able to put it on them. So give me Arkansas on the money line, +115. I don't know if you saw that story about the Arkansas fan. Well, this is crazy because I read it as the Beyond Meat COO, one of the higher execs of Beyond Meat, was arrested at an Arkansas football game for biting another man's nose. So I don't know if they're going to come up with a new product, Beyond Nose, because clearly he's got a hankering for some flesh. I mean, what a maniac. Who gets arrested for biting a nose? So obviously Arkansas has some diehard fans. They will be showing up in full force here. Texas A&M will travel a bit as well. But Arkansas +115 on the money line. And here we go. Nice, juicy two-leg parlay, putting two home dogs together. Pays out +1,000, a.k.a. 10-1. Let's go, baby. Give me Washington State and Rutgers, both on the money line, parlayed together, 10-1. I also like this if you want to get a little crazier or a little more exotic, depending on your level of spice. You can also put Duke in here on the money line and do a round-robin money line parlay. I'm not going to give that out, but I'm just going to go with the Washington State Rutgers money line parlay. Rutgers they're going up against Iowa. This is a game for them. This is a first sellout crowd for them in a very, very long time. Love a good home dog like Rutgers. I mean, they really play for their coach. Iowa's offense has been really bad. Now you take this Iowa's offense and put them on the East Coast. I think they're going to struggle. They've traditionally not looked great as a program on the East Coast. Rutgers is 3-0. Rutgers, if they can limit the turnovers, they're going to be alive in this game. I think they're really going to be angled. This is Rutgers Super Bowl, so I think they're going to get the win, and I think it's going to be fun. So again, that is the first leg of it. The next one, Oregon heads to Washington State. This is a great spot for Wazoo. Oregon State coming off a massive win over BYU. This is a letdown spot if I ever saw one for the Oregon Ducks. You got Bo Nix on the road, something you would always like to fade. Washington State, I think, is a pretty good team. They had a nice quality win over Wisconsin in Wisconsin. That is not a tough play. That's not an easy place to go in and win. And I do like the Wazoo quarterback, Cameron Ward. 8 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, 722 passing yards so far. And again, I think Washington State, they got a nice home field advantage. I think the crowd will be into it. And I think it's not the easiest place to go in and get a W. They're catching about 6.5 points. I think they're going to win outright. So give me with the Washington State Cougars parlayed with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights +1,006. 1 unit on that over at WinBet, aka essentially 10-1. Then Arkansas on the money line, plus 115. Woo, pig! That was a horrible woo. But Arkansas money line plus 115. Get that also over on Win. Notre Dame at UNC. I'm taking UNC minus 2.5, minus 105 over on FanDuel. Last but not least, Duke plus 7.5 over on FanDuel as they square off against Kansas. Hey, follow us on TikTok at Betting Pros. Hop in the Betting Pros Discord as well, bettingpros.com/chat. Follow me on Twitter at Sean T. Green. Check out my other show, the Sports Gambling Podcast. You guys, you know what to do. Subscribe, rate, and review. And as always, don't forget to let it ride.